This project's The Round. It's a collaboration between BKK KTA, and been a project that's very much been delivered in collaboration from start to finish. Firstly, we'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Wurundjeri people of the nation on whose land this project sits. The project sits in Nunawading, in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, and really, it is one of the largest pieces of cultural infrastructure investment in the City of Whitehorse's history. It's a major new civic building for the eastern suburbs, but something that has always been intended to have a regional focus. The project itself comprises a performing arts centre with a range of different programs, which is that funny shaped thing you see in the middle of the site, but also a whole precinct-based approach. So we've delivered car parking, landscape upgrades, and a range of other sustainability initiatives across the site, including active transport, bike facilities, and services for outdoor events. It's a heavily programmed site, so it's not just about the building, it's very much about this whole precinct which gets heavily used. And really conceived as a heart for this precinct, not just within the City of Whitehorse, but further afield too.
So the problem this building tries to solve is the building in the round, especially within a parkland setting. And so it's really what you do with big box to activate that. This was the previous building that was there, already a performing arts centre, very much loved, but poorly performing from a design point of view, not much public interface, inactive, and not much placemaking. So early sketches were about thinking how to make the building envelope, the architecture work hard to form territories and public realm opportunities all around, as well as bring the interior out and undermine the sort of dead black box. Big box, sorry, black box too. So this idea that the building envelope, it has 5 faces, each way is engaging with the adjacent conditions and forming that up. So to the north, the housing, a residential part; to the east, relating to sports fields and car parking entries; to the south, engaging with the civic precinct and that arrival; to the, I keep getting this mixed up, southwest, thank you, the amphitheatre, which is the biggest of those bites; and then the Namenarren Park to the north and west corner. So each of those, so a walk around from car parking, no getting away from cars, is a very car-light part of the world. Our car park is sort of future-proof to some degree. The formation of these plazas you can see here, and the building envelope setting up through its scalloping, these variety of scales of perimeter space. This is on the southwestern side. Then the amphitheatre, moat dog walking. So this is very much designed for both events, formal events, but also everyday enjoyment through the parks and pathways established. This is the Namenarren Park just through here, where you can sort of literally sit up against the building. The northern face, which is linking with the residential development. So here is where that high form of the fly tower is then mediated with the lower fat fascia, the roof, to the suburban housing to the north. And you can also see that big window to the green room. Then the scallops in the building envelope, again about placemaking opportunities. Here's where kids waiting to go to ballet school can wait to be picked up. So everything, it's like the building is a piece of furniture almost that kind of holds you. And back to the car park. There's the car park, so opened up, so you've got links to, and it's not one of those dead zones, could be used as an undercover market as well.
And so part of the discussions early on, really, what should this building be and what should it feel like? And there was a lot of for the original building, but it was pretty tired, and so we thought suburban civic as a sort of type is something we were really interested in, and so it's drawing references to these really significant, the canon, I suppose, of civic cultural buildings like Sharoon, but also the local Edmund McCorry and John Truscott's Victorian Arts Centre. So celebrating the suburban and these local references, but also a bit of fanciness, some special sense of special occasion with the interiors. So the building very much is also a very operative building. It acts as a backdrop to outdoor events, but then also encompasses significant internal events. So a building that creates these series of moments around this striation of brick that draws reference back to some of those suburban brick veneered building types.
I think brickworks in the area and that sense of ground as well through that transformation.
Within the building itself too, there's a lot of work going into trying to make sure that each of the spaces or programs have their own sense of identity within the building. So when you come into the foyer, you see this bar which forms the back of the proscenium theatre and provides that sense of welcome when you arrive. And the foyer has really been designed as a space that can accommodate all of the programs functioning at the same time, so high intense event mode, but also on a day-to-day basis. So this space gets used by the community just to go and have a coffee and hang out as well. So the programs I'll just run through fairly quickly. There's a proscenium theatre and studio theatre, which are the main theatrical offerings. This lobby, quite plastic lobby that wraps around those areas and toilet amenities. Back of house, there's a lot of work that went into thinking about how to give natural light to these areas, which are traditionally buried deep in the floor plate and pretty mean. So the idea is that these spaces are pleasant spaces for crew and performers to be outside of events as well, and administration. Upstairs there's also function rooms and event and commercial kitchen, also rehearsal spaces. This is the proscenium theatre, so a sense, I guess, reference back to Trustcott and that sense of occasion. And then a more contemporary black box theatre, so beyond that's the big door that opens up to the external and rehearsal spaces. And a series of moments, so the building can very much operate in discrete modes, so parts of the building can be used separately without having to open up the whole facility.
So the other part of all of that is this idea of formal and informal. So you've got obviously spaces for performers and the green rooms, again the dog walker, getting a bit sick of dog walkers now, but you get the gist. And so we often talk about public buildings having value both for their intended purpose and their incidental purpose. Connections to outside that are drawn from inside, or dogs. There's a lot of dogs in this area. And then also how these spaces get used. I know George touched on this, but the sort of swelling in the plan of small space, big space works beautifully for the different numbers of people, and if it's only a small number, it still works. I've been there in the morning and people are hanging out there having coffee. I'll be really interested to see how it works in winter as a public space that is warm and so on too. I don't work quite well for that. So here you just get a sense of the different groups, whether you're sort of dressing up for a special occasion or a more everyday use, back of house and rehearsal space and green room, and you can see natural light connected out to that landscape beyond. Great. Green room. Thank you. Carol's mic now.